the fact that our Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett had to jet off to D.C. because Trump decided that he was going to blast Iran with dropping bombs on them. But he's blasted Israel and Iran. Before I even get into this, is it crazy that we just dropped bombs on a country without congressional approval?
Insanity. But you know what? Mama Kamala warned us. Just gonna say that. Just gonna put that out there.
She did. There's a video circulating. You can go find it of Kamala telling us within 6 months we'd be at war. In fact, a lot of the things Kamala said was going to happen has happened. But this past week, Donald Trump left Americans fearing that we'd be headed for World War III after he dropped bombs all over Iran. Now, didn't he claim that the Democrats would be the party sending us into war after they gained the seat? When 2019, Kamala Harris, as Rob said, warned us that the world would see this and that this would happen ahead of his first term. Listen.
This president is thinking about putting us in a position where we're in a war with Iran. The consequences will be absolutely unacceptable and tragic in terms of the young men and women who are American soldiers who would be sent and deployed into something that was completely avoidable. In a Harris administration, we wouldn't have gotten ourselves into this mess. I have good reason, based on everything we know publicly, to suspect and to be concerned that his motivation is more out of self-interest than it is the interest of the American people. You know, I'm traveling our country and meeting with the families who are sending their sons and daughters to these endless wars. And this president better take very seriously any threat that he makes to enter us into another war and send our young men and women into battle.
Now, amid the Israel-Iran conflict, Trump condemned the nations and told Iran to back down. And when they didn't listen, Trump had our troops conduct airstrikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear programs, including Natanz, Esfahan, and Fordow. These are places that I've never been, which is considered the crown jewel of Iran's nuclear program. Okay, now, again, typically when we go to war or when we do an attack against another foreign entity, there's congressional approval, like there's a process. I was watching on the news that they were so strategic in how they did this. They had some fighter jets fly this direction to throw people off while they flew stealth over here to bomb the country. When you hear something like that happening, does it make you wonder, like, could they send bombs over here? Because the thought of a bomb dropping in on U.S. soil is crazy, but we don't have the protection that the shield that Israel has, right? And it could happen.
I mean, it could. I feel like our intelligence is a little bit more advanced, I would hope, to catch on to that. But it's just insane that, you know, this whole situation is taking place because of a feud between Israel and Iran. Like, it doesn't make any sense as to why Trump has decided to insert himself in that issue. I don't know. It's crazy. It's insane.
Even like the bombs is scary enough. Then I'm thinking like, oh my God, I never had kids. I never have a husband. What if World War III comes? Then I'm just never going to have nothing. Like, it's scary to think of like me existing in World War III. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm supposed to go to Europe this week. And I was like, I mean,
the
Fashion Week sounds fun, but just, you know, when you fly to different countries and you start flying over stuff and you look at that map and you go, I don't want to fly over that city, that country, that. You know, no judging. I'm just saying, like, where the world is right now is kind of scary. And also to be in Paris at a time where you never know where sleeper cells could be or where terrorist attacks can happen, and large events like these, knock on wood that nothing happens, but you really just don't know. We're in such an unpredictable time that it just doesn't make sense right now.
And I was saying it was going, I don't know if y'all saw on TikTok, it was going viral. All like the American like troops, the army, they were like, like this means that we're going to go to war, because they were serving them all steak and lobster. And they're like, this is the sign. This is what they did for Iraq. This is what means that we're going to go to war. So they're feeding all the soldiers like food. And I'm like, no.
Like the Last Supper.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Now, the move left U.S. military officials briefing troops about possible Iranian counterstrikes and terrorist attacks in America and abroad. Iran then claimed it would continue running its nuclear program even after the savage attack ordered by Trump. Meanwhile, Israel congratulated and praised Trump for pulling off the pivot of history. However, New York Congresswoman AOC wasn't as happy and called for Trump's impeachment. Take a look. She said the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Do you think he will be impeached?
No.
No.
Do you think he should be impeached?
Yes.
But people, why is Congress giving him the power to just move like a king that could have repercussions that could hurt millions of Americans?
Because I truly think that Republicans as a whole are afraid of Trump. So they're afraid of the Trump effect. They're afraid that if they speak up against Trump, if they vote against Trump, for example, if they vote to impeach him, and we have a Republican-led Congress and Senate, if they vote against him, he's going to then put money and power behind their opponents when it's time for their reelection. So they're all afraid. So they're just rallying behind him.
Yeah, but like, first of all,
He's
if you
consistently
rally
done it.
behind this nonsense, you're going to get unelected anyway, because the people are, I'm telling you, I foresee a blue wave happening in the country.
It's definitely happening.
Remember, I said this here. There's going to be a blue wave. You have congresswomen and her husband getting murdered. You have senators and their wives being shot, all because of the political energy that's been created and the tension in our country. Like, we're now moving like some of these other countries that we know we want to be nothing like. And the fact that in the midst of an award show, a congresswoman gets concerned, it has to fly out to D.C. immediately because we might be going to war. It just makes it a reality for us all. And I got a text from Jasmine Crockett that said, "Please pray." That's a concern. As somebody, and I'm a vice mayor of a city, but even within the context of understanding, my responsibility to my city, our responsibility to our state in California, and then the country. The fact that we could have a person just be so loose-lipped and reckless and lead us into a war. And it's not even just a war, right? Because we're looking at what's happening over there. It's about again, I don't want to start creating hate for Iranians because it's not that. But what people here may be a part of that situation that may feel like I need to retaliate for my people. Because we would feel that way as Americans. We did feel that way in 9/11 when our Twin Towers were bombed. So now that's why cities like New York and L.A. are on high alert, because we are a melting pot for cultures. We are the representation and heart of what America is. Well, Iran announced that they were going to do a strike attacks against the U.S. and our forces and our air bases in Qatar. Because, we have situations all across the world. So that way, if we ever have to move around, I'm talking like y'all need to be talked to. If the op ever is opping, we got to be able to have people in position. And we got people in position all over the world. Well, they were launching an attack on our air bases in Qatar. Okay? Now, after this, with the help of the officials in Qatar, Trump announced that Israel and Iran agreed on a complete and total ceasefire, ending its 12-day war. But I'm not giving you any applause, and I'll tell you why. This is what Trump had to say. I'm not reading all that. But basically, he's saying, congratulations, it's been fully agreed that the war will be done and that there'll be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours. Y'all can go back and read all that later. But after agreeing to the ceasefire, Israel violated the terms after barely lasting 1 day. And this resulted in Trump claiming that both nations don't know what the fuck they're doing. The fact that we had a president say this on live television is crazy. Listen.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
So when you hear him say that, I mean, it's not like when I did the press conference in Stockton and I said, you're going to fuck around and find out if you're killing kids out here, right? It's a little different. Like, You're the leader of the free world,
Mhm.
and you're on national media saying what we just heard. What do you think?
It's a limitation of thought. Like that's how he could articulate his thought, because I don't think he truly knows what's happening. And like, to me, this drives me crazy because everyone is so silent. Republicans are so silent when he does crazy things like this, but they completely lost their mind. Remember when Barack Obama wore a tan suit? You would think it was the end of the world, but like this man can do literally whatever and they stay silent. They don't say a word, and it's infuriating.
And this commentary is less about whether you're Republican or Democrat, or MAGA or not. You know, I think sometimes we get lost in all of the issues or the narratives because it's easy to distract people. This is like, what type of class and prestige do we want to be represented by? What considerations for equality, diversity, and other people, you know, do we want to consider? When we go to war, it's not about who has the bigger dick. It's dropping bombs on little kids and their families. And look, there are times where you got to go to war. When they bombed 9/11, when they hit us 9/11, I was like, erase the whole country. Like literally, the country that's responsible, erase the entire fucking country. And I'm not sorry for feeling that way, because as Americans, you know, people who have pride in our country and who understand, like for me as a black man, we built this motherfucker. Like we're not gonna let you come over here and tear it up. I'm talking to you the way you need to talk to. And even though our country is not perfect, there is a lot of pride that we have here. So when somebody can come over and just disrespect us and like kill thousands of people because you want to send a message to America, well, we'll send a message to you too. And that's when America needs to flex and go bomb shit. But even in that situation with Bush, who, you know, I had this weird affection, like and dislike for Bush, because, you know, I like the fact that when we got bombed, he was like, fuck that. He turned into a cowboy and he was like, we're going to obliterate you. But he also went and obliterated Iraq and another country that had nothing to do with that. And I think we ended up hanging or killing their leader, right? Or well, they did. Anyway, America's gangster too, and we ain't perfect. But
Sounds like a
this
movie.
right here is scary. In Los Angeles, think about it alone. They're Blackhawks landing in the city of Los Angeles. And, you know, troops, I think over 4,000 military troops in the city to control the chaos, which is called protesting. It's a constitutional right that people have. Free speech in America. We're turning into something different. A lot of you ain't woke because you too busy, you know, hotboxing and playing TikToks and all the dumb shit and hands on your knees, hands on your hoochie coochies. Pay attention to what's happening. And the fact that y'all let Kamala Harris get off and not get in office for 4 years when we needed her. She needed to be in office. You know, whether you like her, don't like her, she's a woman, she's black, she's this, that. She's better, more qualified. And I have to go on record to say that. And look, the best man, he won. You know, not the best man, but, you know, he won. And Trump, you know, at some point, I'm sure I'll meet you for an interview or something. And I mean, I don't even know if appealing to you would make sense, because I don't know if you even listen to anybody at this point. And I don't even know if you have more than one personality, maybe one listens to them and the other decides what to do with it. But either way, you know, this is not the way. And right after you said that you were going to have the ceasefire, they were bombing again. So, like, isn't there like a long-standing feud between Iran and Israel?
Yeah, I mean, all of the countries over there take issue with Israel.
But did he think he was going to resolve
Yeah.
a multi-decade conflict in 6 hours?
Yeah, just like he said he was going to end the Russia and Ukraine war on the first day, and he also said there was a ceasefire, and that ceasefire was broken by immediately. Like,
Where is Elon?
He's been
That's
kicked
the
out.
real question.
Elon is somewhere on his rocket smoking a cigar, like.
Or taking ketamine.
Allegedly.
Anyway, bye.